Hey everyone, welcome to the Gilbert K Show. Today, we have an absolute powerhouse joining us. You've seen him on Emmy Award-winning Homeland, Black-ish, Arrested Development, and so much more. But beyond Hollywood, his story is straight out of a spy thriller. He's worked for NASA's flight operations, with a feature film inspired by his life in the works, and a passion for storytelling that's changing lives globally. He's a true force of creativity and purpose. Please welcome the multi-talented, unstoppable Raja Deka.
Hey Raja, how are you today?
Hey, man. How are you, Gilbert? Doing great. So good to be on your show, man.
Thank you for being on the show. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to watch a clip from your reel. And can you tell the audience what we're going to be watching?
Yeah, the first one is from a show called Black-ish, which at the time was a really big show on ABC. And I got to work with a veteran named Richard Rial, Anthony Anderson, and a few others. And it was a great group. And yeah, the whole process was fantastic. But yeah, that was from Black-ish.
Excellent. Okay, so let's watch the reel.
Fighting with your wife. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves and how your night went off the rails.
Dr. Dilip Kotwala told my wife her nan is not as puffy as my mom's.
Special sex?
Special sex.
Special sex. Special sex. Special sex. Come on. Special sex. Special sex. What? Special sex.
Let's start. So could you start telling me a little bit about yourself and what sparked your interest in acting and producing?
You know what? I've been dancing from a very young age, and I've always been curious about acting. And years after college, my best friend from daycare days, his little brother said, Raj, you've always talked about taking an acting class, never had the balls to do it. There's a community theater near NASA holding open call auditions for a play called The Gazebo. You're going Thursday, whether you like it or not. So I'm terrified. I show up with no experience, and I got a role named Drucker that put me on stage for 30 seconds at the end of the show. So that kind of was a spark. It was a catalyst. And so that was like the beginning.
That's great. And what was one of your most memorable experience when you started out?
Starting out, I think when I moved to LA, I was here for about 10 or 11 months. I went back to Houston, saw some family friends. We were having pizza, me and some buddies, and I got a call that I just landed a Paramount movie, G.I.
Oh, wow.
Joe, and I felt like my heart stopped and time on the planet stopped.
Mm.
So that came to mind just now. So I think that was the one.
Wow, wow. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh my God, it was so I loved G.I. Joe growing up. It was my childhood pastime. I still have G.I. Joes from back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how much I love G.I. Joe. And I met somebody, so I was working a government job that took me all over the world. And when I was off, I went to this networking event
Mhm.
in the DC area. There were three of the top agents out there, and I just wanted to meet one of them, Sylvia Hudson. And there were thousands of actors, or at least there were just a bunch. And I had like 10 seconds to shake her hand. Hey, how you doing? I left, and I thought, man, like there's nothing more I can do. I can't go in there and have coffee with her.
Yeah.
So I leave. And there's a guy sitting outside. He's like, "What's up, man?" I said, "Hey, dude, how are you doing?" And we started
Yeah.
talking. We were bullshitting for 2 hours, laughing our butt off for no reason. And I'm like, "Mike, so good to meet you, brother. I got your number. We'll link up." He goes, "You know who I am, right?" I said, "No." He goes, "I'm Sylvia's husband, the casting director I wanted to connect with." So she's submitting me for jobs like I'm her son, and I can guarantee you she didn't remember me when I met her. Anyways, fast forward to about a year or two later, I'm in LA and I get this tape audition from Sylvia for G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
And when I got the job, I got to work with Jonathan Pryce, Robert Catrini, Marcelo Tubert, Ilya
Wow.
Volok, Ajay Mehta, all these legends. And I was the only one who was a part of that group who didn't
That's
have like
amazing.
a gazillion years experience. So when I got GI Joe, I got to be a part of my childhood love, GI Joe. I got to
Yeah.
film in New Orleans where I was born, and
Wow.
we got to shoot at a NASA facility, and I got to be a part of United Space Alliance at NASA. So it was like
That's
a
pretty
full
cool.
circle. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
cool. Pretty
Yes,
cool.
yeah.
So, how do you describe yourself in 3 words?
Um, Positive, adventurous, light. That's what comes.
Yeah, that's good. Um, what's one fact about you that most people might not know?
I've been dancing my whole life. And I've been in LA for 14 years, and I don't think anybody knows that I can move just through feeling, except for maybe two or three people. And I know a lot of people. So
What kind of dancing do you do?
I started at a very young age with like Assamese bihu, like kind of like tribal folkloric, very, very slow movement.
Yeah,
And then in middle school, I started to do hip hop and other styles. And then in college, I did like choreography for different styles. So I would say freestyle is it's kind of my own way of movement. It doesn't really
yeah,
identify with jazz, hip hop, or any other style. It's just kind of like my own style. But we've definitely done choreography for talent shows, incorporating different fusions of different cultural styles,
yeah.
which is really, really cool.
That's great. That's great. And
Yeah.
what hobbies do you have other than dancing? What do you do for fun?
You know what? I love bringing people together. I love to travel. I get invitations here and there, and I have to listen to like, does it make sense to go? And then sometimes you go to another country, another city, and then something happens, and you're like, oh my God, this is why I was supposed to be here. So I love the unknown. I love travels. So I love to explore, to answer your question. Explore and watch movies, classics,
Yeah,
just movies where you can just watch it and in seconds you're in that world with them.
that's great. That's great. My next segment is a small game we play on the show. It's called This or That.
Cool.
And in this fun game, I'll give you 2 options, and you have to
Okay.
pick the one that you like the most or that fits you better.
Okay.
There are no wrong answers, and you don't need to explain your choice unless you want to. And it's all
Okay.
about quick, fun decisions for the audience to get to know you. Are you
Cool.
ready, Raja?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Method acting or winging it?
Ooh, winging it.
Oscar speech or dramatic meltdown?
Oof. Oscar speech.
Villain role or goofy sidekick?
Villain role.
Cry on cue or fake a laugh?
Pick a laugh.
Green screen or real stunts?
Real stunts.
Shakespearean monologue or soap opera drama?
Ooh, Shakespeare.
Flub a line or strip on set? Or trip on set.
I say trip on set because that's where magic happens.
Yeah. Stage fright or horrible accent?
Ooh, stage fright.
Improv genius or script stickler?
Ooh, improv. Genius.
Hollywood blockbuster or indie masterpiece?
Indie masterpiece that'll shake up the masses.
That's great. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment. Can you tell me a little bit about the journey or inspiration behind your work or project, or any work or project?
Um, when I was really young, my parents told me there's only one of you, and that never left me. And I wasn't really your typical A student like a lot of other kids were coming from Indian roots. My parents had put pressure on me like you have to do this or that. They're like, just go live, be you, do you. And so I had this confidence because of those words. There's only one of you, and that never left me. So no matter what my report card showed, I knew I was king in my heart. So I attracted NASA. There's a group that recruited me, and I got to travel all over the world. And there was a moment my father said, "Hey, you've got a great job, but your heart's in the acting, and your time is now." So he gave me his blessing, and he's like, "You're going to resign from this. I'm going to come with you." And so I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to go with my dad to LA and start a new chapter." Um, Anyways, 2 days later, he has a sudden heart attack and he collapses.
I'm sorry.
So I lose my father. I resigned from this amazing job that took me all over the planet. I went to Africa for the World Cup. That was in Cape Town that year, but I was in Nairobi, Cairo, all over the place, Dubai, just to get some clarity, and then I come to DC and I drive in a car across the country to LA with no income, two mortgages, and my superhero's blessing, my father's blessing.
Wow.
So to answer your question, the inspiration comes from my parents believing in me from a very young age.
Yeah.
And then later on, like years after my mother passes, my father's like, we're gonna go get what I know is waiting for you. And so when a parent says that and then they disappear, there's no option B. And you know, it's been a roller coaster, but I've been flying at the soul level since. And I wouldn't change anything, even the hard times and the heartache.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, the inspiration comes from the belief that happened from a young age, and then my father's ultimate like the catalyst of like launching me into LA with his words.
Wow. Very inspiring. Um, how did your experience shape your approach to acting or producing?
Um, I love bringing people together. So I feel like I've been a master at it since I was a kid. My approach to acting has consistently changed because I believe the more we live life and travel and meet new people, new cultures, and really open our minds and our hearts, we
Mm-hmm.
grow spiritually. And I think the more we live, the more we love, the more we grow. And if we have more experience as actors, we're fully loaded. That's the best ammunition you could dream of to really, really live. So my approach is consistently changing as long as I continue to attain new experiences in different parts of the world, locally, anywhere it is, but it's got to be living new experiences.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. How do you prepare for a project? So let's take, for example, acting.
Mhm.
How do you prepare for that?
Um, I really, really like to focus on what is the message of the movie or the show. What is the meaning? What is the purpose? What is the message? I try to connect personally with the director, with the cast members, and just spend quality time, whether it's grabbing a coffee or rehearsing and just getting to know each other's essence and making sure we understand why we're here and why the characters are here, lifting the story in their specific ways. So really connecting in a very genuine, authentic person level with whoever I can. And then I get into the script and try to make the most interesting choices to help elevate the story for everyone. And I've learned from the beginning that if you're really true to any character you're working on, you're going to be working on that backstory and the specifics and how they grew up, what are they going through today, like what's still eating them up inside from their childhood, or what are they living for that hasn't come yet. Just getting very, very specific, you know, with different senses as well. You continue to work on it even in your subconscious, like even while when you're sleeping, when you're just you know, doing random things, ideas can come and find you, and it's like, oh, I'm going to use this. So it's like when you're in when you get cast and you work on something, you're working on it 24/7 and you don't realize it necessarily.
Yeah. Wow. And as an actor, what interests you in a project? What like how what in, yeah what interests you in a project? If somebody has a script, is
Mhm.
it the story, the cast, the producer? What interests you the most?
I used to get excited about like, oh my God, I get to work with this well-known actor or director. Now I try to think about, is this story going to contribute to something the world needs? Or is
Yeah.
this something that's going to make me look good on paper as a quote unquote working actor? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I used
Yeah.
to value so much, but now I'm kind of like, I'm not interested anymore in like what Hollywood or entertainment or what any other industry thinks it wants. I want to
Yeah.
think about, hey, here's a script, here's a story, is it contributing even in a small way to what
Yeah.
the world needs right now? And if it
Mhm.
does, and we have some experienced talent and the director, and there's a good vibe and energy exchange, I'm in 200% man.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a producer, how do you get projects? Who how oh, what interest probably what interests you? It's the same kind of thing what you were saying about acting, but what triggers you to make a project and produce it, and how do you go about that? If somebody has a script, do they approach you? Do you have your own special writers? Do you how does it work?
We have our own writers, and we tackle projects thus far that have been based on actual life events, true stories that are inspiring,
Hmm.
that these stories are already changing lives in different parts of the world, for example. And then we'll hire
Yeah,
different writers in different parts of the world. And we've been approached with other projects, but so far I feel like it's really been based on actual life events that are
yeah,
already inspiring people. Those are the ones that move us. And thank God we know a lot of wonderful writers, whether it's in LA, like Denver, in Australia, in India, in the UK. So yeah, it's getting the specific individuals for the right projects,
hmm,
especially if they can relate and resonate.
yeah. Are you the type of producer who is hands-on, or you get a script, you package it, you have like the cast and the main cast and the director, and then say off you go, and you hire a line producer, or you're like very hands-on?
A little bit of both. Sabrina Precario is my company partner and one of my I say soul siblings who and I feel like she has a lot more experience in the producing realm. So I'm learning a lot from her, but I'm also hands-on in the sense that we will hire a line producer. We will go to location. We'll fly out to do this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
And we'll also sit down with these respective players with what they're doing while also honoring their space. But I feel
Hmm.
like you have to be hands-on to make sure that, hey, everybody is on the same page. And once we're on the same page, go do your thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a value in not only trusting, but also being like, hey, is there anything else more that I can do? Even, as experienced as some of these veterans are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And and if your vision also, you want to make sure your vision is there
Yes.
and delivered.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So what
100%.
was one unexpected challenge you faced when you got started?
When the work started slowing down. Um, I
Yeah.
got a Paramount film within the first year, then I got two of the biggest shows, and then I got this wonderful independent film, and then things didn't happen for like a good 2, 3 years. And I was just like, God, what am I doing? Like I'm missing out on seeing my nephews and nieces grow up. I'm away from everyone, and am I doing enough as an actor? I was doubting my own self, my own worth. I saw a psychologist. It was really, really hard. And it was really unexpected because I had this undying belief my whole life, and all of a sudden things aren't working. It's like, is
Mhm.
something wrong with me? And then I stuck with it. And then a couple things slowly started to give me more clarity and awareness, and I just started to listen. And then in
Mhm.
2017, things started to change back. Not necessarily with work coming left and right, but gaining the value of living certain experiences, and thus these experiencing these experiences reminding us of our own worth and purpose, which
Okay.
which put me back in that plane of flying, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So how do you see acting and producing evolving in next few years, especially with AI? Yeah.
I feel like we're already losing ourselves and each other. I feel like with social media, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, technology it's brilliant. Like we get to see any loved ones anywhere in the world and see what they're up to and how they're doing and connect, right?
Hmm.
But we're on our phones and our social media so much that we're completely forgetting about our own value and what's inside us. We're running, we're chasing, we're not leading. And social media, for example, is designed to have likes and followers, and this person's doing this. There's nothing that reminds us of tapping into our own originality, our own light, our own power. Nothing.
Yeah.
So I feel like AI, it's incredible, but at the same time, like AI is what not only has taken away, I mean, almost took away that much more of our jobs as actors, as creatives. I think with AI, you're going to have more blockbuster films that are going to be beautifully stunning, and it's going to get better and better and better, and it's going to be great to really, really experience. But I feel like we have to be careful with forgetting about the originality of storyline and storytelling. you know? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you have the AI, you have, technology, but we can't forget about our original stories. Our original stories is why you put on Back to the Future, you put on like, Gone with the Wind, like whatever it is that moved you when you were a kid, but like those pulled on our heartstrings for a reason. And there was no special effects, there was no AI, it was humanity. And we
Yeah.
need more humanity to remind each other of, hey, we need each other. Like, oh my God, that guy's going through that. Like I've been there. I know what that feels like. It's like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually not alone. But there's so many beautiful ways of simplifying a story, being true to the original storyline, and not
Mhm.
giving so much power to the technologies that are filling our bank accounts up. I mean, sure, we need money and
Yeah.
that's exciting, but it's kind of like we can't lose humanity, man. That's
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So let's watch another clip from your reel and what this clip is about, Raja.
So this is the one that's called Easy Money. It's an independent film that was being made, and a good friend back in the day, Ashton, he sends me a text on a weekday. He's like, "Hey man, can you be in Santa Monica in an hour? Bring a black suit. I'll explain." And and I was like, whoa. And I'm like, at the time he was also on some really big shows. So I thought, okay, like it's gonna be legit. Let me see what it is. He's a brother. I got him. So I dropped what I was doing, went to Santa Monica. We're in this underground parking garage. There's a huge crew with cameras and equipment and whatnot. The director comes up to me. He's like, hey, we're shooting a montage to promote this movie called Easy Money. It's a counterfeit thriller,
Yeah.
and there's going to be no audio. You're going to be kind of there to basically receive a bill from the lead actor. You're going to examine it, and you're going to look at your bodyguard, and then you're going to give it back. And he said, before we shoot, number one, you don't trust this prick because he screwed you over in the past. Number two,
Yeah.
you are a powerful business tycoon, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, let me help them out, do a couple takes, and then I've got buddies in downtown Santa Monica waiting to have drinks. So like life is good, right? So we do a take. Um, he gives me the bill, the lead actor. I examine
Mhm.
it. I give it back to him. He puts his hand up. He's like, it's okay, you keep it. Gilbert, something inside me flipped where
Yeah.
without really saying anything, I just made it very, very clear. You will never call the shots in my house again. We just had a beautiful chemistry. With my peripheral vision, I could see a couple individuals looking through the dailies and jumping up and down, and I didn't know why. A week later, Ashton, who even called me on, said he goes, "Hey man, you're one bad motherfucker." He was like, "They loved your chemistry so much, they're changing the screenplay or the story, and they're
Yeah.
incorporating your character as a main character." So when that happened, I said, "God, you allowed me this life-changing role through someone who thought they needed me for something else. Allow me to do the same thing for my friends 100,000 times over. Put
Yeah.
me in like in West Africa, put me in Japan, put me in like, Chile, put me all over the world filming." And the director's like, "Hey, I need so and so, I need them yesterday. I'll know five people to call and say, hey,
Yeah.
I need you. Everything's taken care of. Just get to LAX, you know?
Yeah.
So this angel brought me through, and it was amazing because we filmed in all these beautiful locations in old warehouses downtown, and the character had these layers that kept growing, growing, and growing. So it was like a dream. I learned so much of what it really, really took of having that kind of weight and how much
Mhm.
the everybody in the crew and the team depends on you. You know,
Yeah.
one day I
Yeah.
had two auditions, and I had to run, do those two at one really big commercial, this show on NBC, and I had to come back because everybody was waiting to film. So you have an
Mhm.
appreciation that, hey, this is a tribe. It's never a one woman or a one man show.
Yeah.
This is about all of us. And everyone's waiting for you. So, you really appreciate what it takes. But I share with you about this clip because it was something I never ever saw coming, and it happened. It was destiny, man, and I'm really proud of it.
Excellent. So let's watch the clip.
Sure.
If you are 1 minute late, she gets a bullet in the face. Sit down. You see, Mr. Sweeten, this is a business of ethics. And in this business, I determine the ethics. Don't even think of crossing me again. I will slowly saw her head off right in front of you. I believe we're on the same page, no?
Okay, let's move on to the next segment. So what's one crucial piece of advice you would give someone interested in acting or producing?
Train, get into a class where there's no hierarchy, and that you'll learn over time.
Mhm.
Sign up in a class and ask people who have done the class and ask them about their experiences, because there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of people who are all about booking, 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 which is it's important to like book the jobs, but you want someone who cares about your growth and your craft, you know? Like I train at Stella Adler, almost every teacher cared genuinely about where I was with my craft. And
Mhm.
that's where you want to go work with an extended family, right?
Yeah.
So I say train, keep good people around, and create an actors group. We had one every Wednesday where 5 or 6 of us would have a scene or a song or a dance or something to perform, and we'd all talk about it. Then we would go over each one of our goals that we crushed from last week and the goals we're going to crush this coming week. So everything, every win that we have is our win.
Yeah.
So I would say train, keep good people around always, start an actors group, and really, really listen and pay attention to what matters to you the most, not the noise
Mhm.
around you. There's a lot of people like, oh my God, I'm going to audition for this. I'm going to do this. It's more about the experience, you know, and just know
Yeah.
that, you know, whether you get a role today, tomorrow, or next year, trust the process. Create a home in LA or New York or in London, wherever you are. Create a base that'll allow you to feel like, hey, you know what? I have a foundation. Now that I feel
Mhm.
like I'm living in my new space, I can start to plant seeds for my craft, my training, my community, and continue to grow together and support each other. But I would say do all that as well as listen less to the noise about constantly about like, oh, you know, all the following and chasing and what looks like glitz and glamour and all the,
Mhm.
you know, like all the superficiality, and really, really focus on the grit of the craft and your personal growth.
Mhm.
And as long as you train and keep good people around, the work is going to find you. That's how it happens. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. And instead of getting too distracted with all the external noise around us, listen to what matters to you inside. And you know, that takes time, but really, really listen to, hey, like this project looks great on paper, but like something's making me feel like maybe it's not a good idea. Listen to that, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what? And you know what? Let people fight for you. And it's okay to say no. It's
Mhm.
really okay to say no. If something doesn't feel right, say thank you, but no thank you. You know,
Yeah.
no job will determine your value or your worth. You know, you are who you are, and that's not going to change. But you have to know that. But yeah, man, as far as advice, I could go on for 3 weeks, bro. You know?
That's great advice. Great advice. Um, can you share a moment when you faced a significant obstacle and how you could overcame it? Probably you touched a little bit about it on it. If there's anything else you want to add.
You know, we had a group of friends here that were like family. We were so close that we would even talk about our kids playing together one day, you know. And almost 10 years ago, there was a misunderstanding with two of them, and then like, the relationship completely got severed. And I felt like I lost two brothers.
Hmm.
And recently we reunited, and it's been amazing. But like those few years, I remember that Christmas where we couldn't even talk to them, saying, "Hey, this was a misunderstanding. We all want the same thing. We all mean well, but like let's talk about it. Like we're family, we're brothers, right?"
Yeah.
We couldn't even talk to them, and it was just a weird time for a few years where you feel like your own family has left you and another friend, another brother, and there's no explanation, nothing. Like I'm used
Mhm.
to having friends from daycare from when I was an infant, and today we're closer than ever.
Wow.
So I also learned you can't project your own experiences onto someone else because we all grow up differently. But that was a big obstacle for me, man, because I felt like I lost two siblings. And when I went home for Christmas, my cousin's husband was like, "What's wrong with you, man? Like you got hit by a truck. Like you're shaking."
Mhm.
I told him, and I felt like I lost my bloodline in LA. But yeah, so that was a big obstacle, man. But recently
Yeah,
we reunited, and it feels good to just know that the love never went anywhere, you know?
yeah, that's good. So how do you stay motivated and inspired during challenging times?
Um, Sabrina always reminds me to go back to the why. Like, why are we doing this? Like if you think about, all the lives we've been changing as because of through who we are and also through our work. But she was like, we've been changing lives. We already won. Like, go back to the why. Why are we doing this? So that keeps me on the ground. That keeps me, like in the soil of the earth, where it's kind of like,
Yeah,
hey, we're already winning. No matter how things might seem, it's like we're in a really good place because we've already been impacting so many people, and seeds are already planted that are going to impact so many people far after we're gone. And when certain, productions and series do come out, those are going to continue to be bonuses, to
yeah,
inspire and whatnot. But I feel like when things become hard and whatnot, I tap into like the gratitude of the people we have, the love we have within us, and the specific purpose we're all born with. That's different from everybody. I think about that and I say thank you every morning. If I like I had a heavy couple of days just recently, and then
mm,
last night, a friend of mine called and she just, man, she dropped it like you wouldn't believe it. And that's exactly what I needed to hear. So it's one of those things where I really, really go back to the why. Why are we here? What is the actual purpose? And also we're already planting the seeds we've been dreaming of. So it's
yeah,
like, like kind of like stay in that zone and continue to fly, and then sometimes it takes more than that to pick yourself back up, but being
yeah,
patient with yourself as well.
that's true. Wow, great advice. Um, so let's move on to the last segment of our show. Is there one last thought of a piece of advice you'd like to share with our listeners or audience?
There's only one of you in this world. Love yourself, nurture yourself, and take the gold and the light that's inside you, mold it, craft it, nurture it, embrace it and share that with the world and do it through who you are and through your work.
Okay, great. And how can our audience connect with you or learn about your work?
If you go to www.touchalifeproductions.com, you'll see our production house, like the films we have in development. You'll see some of my journey, some of my backstory, and also my company partner Sabrina's. And you'll see some interesting parallels that we have, like the way my father gave the blessing, saying, "Hey, we got to go after our dream," and he suddenly passed away. Sabrina's mom told her years later, or years after that moment for me and my dad, she said, "Honey, I've seen it. You're gonna make it." And then her mom suddenly passed away. So yeah, we have this beautiful mission you can read about. You can see our projects, and then you can also reach out to us in case you just want to say hello, or maybe even talk about something that might be on your heart. Because at the end of the day, we're here to lift each other, man. So
Yeah.
there's touchalifeproductions.com, and also Instagram is Raja Deka 108. I'm not on it a lot, but I am on there, and we also have one for Touch a Life.
Excellent. Are there any upcoming projects or collaborations you're excited about?
There's a couple. There's Happy, which is based on my actual life events. My father's last words to me that catapulted, my being into LA, is in the screenplay. And it's a story we're really, really proud of. And we're very, very close to being in pre-production. It's been a journey. We could have made this a couple years ago with the resources we have, but the stakes and the storyline would not have been where they are today, and some of the players that we have now are would not be in the equation. So there's a beauty and a value in being patient. And now the story is in a place we couldn't be happier with. So Happy, I'm really, really pumped about. And I'm happy about this TV sitcom that a producer is making that I'm headlining, that any family in the world can watch and will be able to relate to. So it's an Indian American sitcom based in Houston, Texas, about a blue collar guy who marries into a very wealthy girl's family, and these two complete opposites are trying to figure out how to raise these kids. But
Yeah.
a lot of relatability, a lot of humor, and just a lot of like actual like life, you know. So I'm really really excited,
Right.
and I'm proud of them already with all the people we have who are a part of it, you know.
That's great. Before we wrap up, who you'd like to thank or acknowledge for supporting you in your journey?
Of course, God, my mom and my dad, my brother Nick, who just passed in August. He always was like, he would say, man, things always work out for you. He was like, you just need one man. One's gonna put you on the map. And I can still hear his heart, his soul, his love, his strength, his resilience. Of course, I have a group of wonderful friends out here. Sabrina, Gil, Skip, Raj, is just naming a few of them. And Kyla, Brick, there. Art, Ashton, like these guys have been there from the beginning. And I have friends back home who were just always, always supportive. No one has ever once said, "Are you sure you want to continue? Do you want to go back to your last job or whatever?" They're like, "Man, keep shining your light, man." Just fully supportive.
Yeah.
And I just hope and pray I can be a fraction of that supportive for others, you know?
Yeah. That's great. So that's a wrap. That's all, folks. Raja Deka, everyone. Thank you, Raja.
Of course, thank you, Gilbert, so much for having me. And I just wanted to share real quick the way some of these independent films happen, like Easy Money, for example. Sometimes they happen without you even looking for it. So really, really focus on yourself and your own well-being, and everything will work out.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, man.